而家準備發言嘅咧就係香港監察嘅 Ben Rogers 律師。
Before I say anything else, I want to say to Hong Kong friends here and in Hong Kong and around the world, Momong Yisi, Sik Dong Suk Yi. And of course, I also want to say Gong Fuk Hong Kong, Si Doi Gak Ming. It's a privilege to be here today on behalf of Hong Kong Watch, but I would rather that none of us had to be here today. And the only reason we are here is because there are 12 very brave young Hong Kongers who are in an extremely dangerous situation. They are where they should not be. They are in a prison in China. And we are here to cry out to the world to say, free the 12 Hong Kongers, return them to Hong Kong. Before that, if that cannot happen immediately, at least allow them to have lawyers of their choice, to have medical access if they need it, to have contact with their families. But free them and return them to Hong Kong, where they should be. About 2 weeks ago, the Hong Kong activist Joey Siu and I were talking about what we could do to help our 12 Hong Kong brothers and sisters. And we decided to take a very simple action, and that was to start a social media snowball. And so Joey and I both tweeted an image with the hashtag Save 12 HK youths, and the idea was to post it on social media, to tag 3 friends, and to create a snowball. And we were joined in that first round by Luke and by Nathan, who you'll hear from shortly, and by Majid Nawaz. And that snowball became an avalanche. And around the world now, thousands of people are joining that campaign. From Greta Thunberg to the former Miss World Canada Anastasia Lin, from the former leader of the Conservative Party Ian Duncan Smith to the former US presidential candidate Mitt Romney. Politicians across parties and across nations, the Liberal Democrat Alistair Carmichael, the Labour MP Sarah Champion, politicians and MPs across Europe, Australia, Canada, and beyond. And I would urge you, if you haven't already joined that campaign, to help that avalanche continue, so that the snowball becomes a spotlight, and the light continues to shine on the 12, and that light mobilizes politicians and governments, because the social media campaign isn't an end in itself. What we need to turn that campaign into is pressure on governments around the world to put pressure on China to free the 12. Already 2 days ago, 65 members of parliament in this country have written to the Foreign Secretary, Dominic Raab, and have signed a global letter to Carrie Lam. MPs in Canada have done the same, and we hope parliamentarians around the world will join this global effort to put pressure on the Chinese government to free the 12. So please join that campaign on social media if you haven't. You can do it by disguising your identity if you wish to, but just take a photo with that hashtag, tag 3 friends, and keep up that momentum. I want to say just one last thing, and that is that our objective shouldn't just be to free the 12, although it should be that. But our objective should be to work for the day when, in Hong Kong, what those 12 young people did, and particularly what Andy Lee did, should be lauded and applauded and celebrated and honoured, not criminalised. They should be free to do the simple thing that they did, which was to work for the freedoms that Hong Kong was promised. And if we want to honour Andy Lee and the 12, we should work not only for their freedom, but continue to work for the freedom of all Hong Kongers. Because this isn't just about they will threaten our own freedoms here today. So it's not only morally right, though it is. It's not only an act of compassion, but it's also an act of self-interest to speak up for the 12. We are the 12. The 12 are not just the 12 individuals in jail in China. We are all with the 12. And so I say again as I conclude, and my Cantonese is very, very limited, and I've been practicing it, but I still need to glance at it just to remind myself. I say again, Mo Mong Yi Si, Sik Fong Suk Yi, Gong Fuk Hong Gong, Si Doi Gat Ning, Ga Yao.